8 Greek houses on IU's campus are now in quarantine. I'm Stephanie Wade down in Bloomington talking with university officials on how they plan to mitigate the spread.
If that is the trend, I would certainly be really sad to see it.
2 more restaurants announced they will be closing due to the pandemic reaction from people downtown. And the Colts return to practice today after pausing to focus on social justice issues. The strong statement of unity they made today.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
And now first at 5, thunderstorms with heavy downpours on this very warm and humid day. You see sunshine, then clouds, and then brief periods of heavy rain. So what's ahead as we move into this evening? Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory. And Kevin, it couldn't be more true. Sun, rain, clouds, more sun.
I always like to call it self-destruct sunshine. It heats things up, builds the next thunderstorm, and this is a Friday night football night. Well, it's much needed rainfall, and if you look to the north here with this Weather Now camera, it gets a little fuzzy on the horizon. That's another downpour that's about ready to move into the Carmel area. Just want to show you the big picture. We're between systems. You've got Hurricane Laura remnants here, a cold front generating thunderstorms to the north, and we're in between for the moment. Let me show you some areas of rain trying to move into south central Indiana. These are circulating to the north, Jackson County, then just south of Bloomington, north of Lake Monroe, towards Sullivan and Bloomfield. Here's the downpour that will make it to 465 and 31 right there in Carmel. That's kind of by itself. And then these are leaving the area. Any chance for severe storms looks to be the greatest after midnight coming from the north. Look at the rain-cooled temperatures in Peru and Tipton while it's above 90 degrees in Lafayette. For the evening hours, our temperatures slow to drop. It will be a warm night for those playing football. Have to drink lots of fluid. Very humid, scattered thunderstorms. We'll be back and talk about the weekend shortly.
And professional sports largely took a pause over the past couple days. Players and teams making a statement by not playing to bring attention to issues of racism and social injustice. The Colts returned to the field today with a strong statement about how they will move forward. Brad Brown has more.
Together, they stand as one. On Friday, the Colts taking pause to make an important statement for anyone that's willing to listen.
We're hurt because we feel the pain of not only our black teammates, but our black community. We understand that we have to use our platform not only individually, but collectively as an organization.
The team took a day off the field on Thursday in support of teams and athletes across other sports leagues, but it was not simply a day off.
We used it as a day to reflect on those Zoom calls we had this offseason, to reflect on the emotions we endured and those conversations that we all pledged to help not only uplift our teammates, but our community.
The Colts are presenting a series of initiatives that they plan to move forward with in the coming months. Chief among them, voter registration and access to the polls, improving community and police engagement, getting food to low-income areas of the city, and support for IPS and the city's public school educators and students.
We understand our role in our country as professional athletes and understand that as our responsibility and our duty as to inspire and encourage change, not only in our own community, but also throughout our country.
As this season begins, it will be about much more than football, and the Colts look ready to lead the way.
Back in the spring when we came out of our 3 days of meetings, one message was really clear, that talk isn't going to be enough. Discussions are important, conversations need to be had, but more than anything, we need action. And it needs to be systemic in our organization through everybody.
I can't tell you enough how proud I am of these young men. They understand that it's got to be more than words, and it's about action. It's about making a real difference in our communities.
Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
And the Colts will be practicing at Lucas Oil Stadium tomorrow. Their first game is scheduled for 2 weeks from Sunday. The NBA will be moving forward with playoff games on Saturday after 3 days of players sitting out. And COVID-19 testing at Indiana University detected an alarming increase in positive cases within Greek houses, and school officials ordered members to quarantine. The university has directed all houses to suspend in-person activities other than dining and housing for live-in members. WRTV's Stephanie Wade is in Bloomington tonight speaking with students and university officials.
The IU administration says they anticipated positive COVID-19 cases and created plans to mitigate the spread. The Monroe County Health Department now instructing 8 Greek houses on campus to quarantine, meaning all members must stay inside their houses for 14 days.
I actually was kind of getting scared yesterday just because I think you just hear around the grapevine people getting it, and then you're like, oh, this person came in contact with this person.
Upon arriving on campus 2 weeks ago, all students, faculty, and staff were tested for COVID-19. If they tested positive, they could either leave campus and quarantine at home for 14 days or be isolated in one of the 564 designated residence hall rooms. University officials say it's hard to tell how the students contracted the virus, whether on campus or outside IU. Right now, there is only a 1% positivity rate for the entire student body, but the Greek house cases are driving a significant amount of the overall numbers.
This is a particular problem with those particular housing units because they are smaller, they do have a more concentrated population, and it is frankly something that we were concerned about from the very beginning.
We will likely test all of our on-campus Greek students again next week as well, to make sure that we're picking up every single positive as it comes along and getting it into isolation and keeping and continuing and expanding quarantines as we need to.
In-person organizational activities are suspended until at least September 14th. And from here on out, the university will be conducting mitigation testing at random. Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
And a list of houses directed to quarantine can be found at studentaffairs.indiana.edu. No other IU residence halls are under quarantine. And now for today's statewide numbers in the spread of coronavirus. 832 more Hoosiers have tested positive, a drop of more than 300 from yesterday's number. The new cases were recorded between August 15th and yesterday. The overall positivity rate remains at 8.7% of unique individuals tested. More than 91,300 people have tested positive statewide. And 11 more Hoosiers have died from COVID-19. You can see it's been an up and down week in the number of daily reported deaths. The deaths reported today occurred between August 20th and yesterday. The statewide total is 3,058. The economic impact of coronavirus continues to take its toll on Indianapolis businesses. By our count, 25 have or will soon close due to COVID-19 since March. The latest are 2 restaurants, one on Mass Ave and the other in Fountain Square. WRTV's Megan Sanctorum explains what challenges the owner faced and what people downtown have to say about it.
It is the final week of business here at Black Market on the end of Mass Ave. The owner saying they will be closing their doors for good on September 5th.
This is the post owner Ed Rudisell made on Facebook, announcing the closure of both Black Market and Rook. Black Market featured authentic Mexican cuisine, and when it opened in 2011, the owner says they broke barriers by being one of the first restaurants in Indianapolis to use a farm-to-table concept. In 2013, Rook opened up. They eventually expanded and put a creative spin on Asian food. But next week, people will find the doors of both locked for good. Rudisell said the federal payroll protection loans were not a good fit for the restaurant industry. He also said insurance companies were refusing to pay the costs incurred when restaurants were shut down because of the pandemic, all ultimately leading to their closure.
It's really sad. I'm a big fan of the food and the culinary scene down here in the neighborhood, and starting to see a lot of businesses starting to close.
Those downtown today have this message for the owners.
We're trying our best to support you. We love you. Hang in there if you can, but obviously we understand times are hard, but if you do have to close your doors, you will be sorely missed.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
And some favorites of a lot of indie restaurants. Sad to see them go. We have a full list of restaurants permanently closing because of the pandemic posted on our website at WRTV.com. AARP Indiana is urging the governor's office to be more transparent and disclose how the state is spending $2.4 billion in CARES Act dollars. The federal funding is meant to help states recover from the financial impact of the pandemic. AARP sent a letter to Governor Holcomb requesting Indiana post on the state's website detailed information on the CARES Act dollars. The group wants to see a list of agencies who receive funds, the amount, and what the money is being spent on. AARP Indiana Director Sarah Waddle says many older people have been hit hard by the pandemic.
Older Hoosiers and their families, they've been hit hard by COVID, and we know this. And so we need to be clear and understand where these dollars are going so we can make sure that we are advocating correctly to make sure that this population is prioritized. We know it's hitting them hardest.
AARP Indiana also wants to see how the state is allocating CARES Act money for specific programs and projects, and if they're holding back any money for the future. We reached out to the governor's office, and a spokesperson told us the state has and will continue to be transparent about how CARES Act money is spent. And tonight, Metro Police have detained a housing complex security guard after a deadly shooting overnight at that northeast side complex. Police are calling this man a potential suspect. The shooting happened around midnight near East 42nd Street and Brentwood Avenue. That's near 42nd and Post. When police arrived, they found a woman who had been shot along with a gathering of at least 30 people. The woman was taken to the hospital where she died. IMPD says the man who is detained is a private security guard hired by the housing complex and is not a member of law enforcement. He has not been arrested. This is the fourth deadly shooting at the complex since June 19th. And tonight, an Indianapolis teenager is turning tragedy into a purpose for her own future. It comes just over 2 years after her brother was killed in that same area of that shooting we just told you about near 42nd and Post Road. Our Nicole Griffin reports the college freshman is being honored by a local organization that helps families impacted by gun violence.
It's a blessing to know that she's recognized, not just for what happened to her brother, but also that she has a brain too.
In January of 2018, this family's life changed forever. Kathy Mann's son, Trayvon, was found dead near 42nd and Post Road.
He was shot 8 times in the head, 2 in the chest. Every bone in his face was broken. All his teeth was pulled out, and he was set on fire.
His brutal death took a major toll on Kathy's daughter, Trinae. She was diagnosed with PTSD, depression, and anxiety. But despite the challenges and struggles, she pushed through, had a successful high school basketball career, and is now a freshman at Indiana State University. The criminal justice and criminology major hopes to one day become a forensic psychologist.
I took that route specifically because of my story, because of my brother. Because yes, I know what happened to my brother was tragic, and I know what happened to him. I wanted to know why did this happen to him? What made those people do this to him?
Now Trinae is getting help achieving her dream in the form of a $2,000 scholarship from Purpose for My Pain. Deandra Dykes founded the group after her son was shot and critically injured when he was just 13.
Trinae is the very first recipient of the When Life Gives You Chocolate, Make Hershey Scholarship Fund. That is a saying Deandra's son Dre used to say before he was shot. And since he can't go to college, Deandra tells me it makes her feel good knowing she can help other families impacted by gun violence. Working for you, Nicole Griffin, WRTV.
Purpose for My Pain plans to award one college freshman every year with a scholarship. The group's founder says it truly gives her a purpose for her pain to be able to help other families impacted by gun violence and achieve their dreams. Still ahead on WRTV, they protect and serve just like their officer partners. The effort to give the IMPD Mounted Horse Patrol a permanent home and how you can help.
And a couple of downpours to point out on the north side of Indy, headed toward Carmel, and then another near Fishers and Noblesville. If you need rain, we'll talk about our possibility overnight tonight as well.
Our Hiring Hoosiers initiative is committed to making sure you know of job opportunities of all kinds. Tomorrow, FedEx Express is holding a hiring event in Indianapolis to recruit package handlers. These are permanent part-time positions intended to meet the ongoing demand of e-commerce shipments. The hiring event will take place tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the FedEx Express Recruitment Center at 6311 Airway Drive in Indianapolis. Starting pay begins at $18.30 to $19.12 an hour. Night shift positions are receiving a $3 an hour premium through January 1st. If you cannot attend, there is application information in this story at hiringhoosiers.com. And they make an impressive sight and play an important role in helping keep the citizens of Indianapolis safe. But IMPD's Mounted Horse Patrol needs a permanent home, and today the effort to give them that got a big financial boost. The unit was formed in 1983, and for more than 15 years, the officers and their horses have operated from a set of trailers on the west side not intended for long-term use. An effort is underway to raise $1 million to fund a permanent barn and offices for the unit just north of the current location on land that was the former Central State Hospital. Today, Caesars Entertainment, which operates Indiana Grand and Hoosier Park, donated $50,000 to the project.
We are super excited and grateful for this opportunity to take this donation. And again, I'm very hopeful that sooner than later we will all be out here to unveil a new state-of-the-art facility that these officers and these horses deserve.
The patrol consists of 7 officers and 8 horses. In crowd management situations, 1 horse is equal to 10 officers on the ground, protecting in crowds and holding a line. The unit was in use during the downtown protests in May. You also see them at Colts games and other big events. The Horse Patrol is not fully funded by the city's budget. The nonprofit IMPD Horse Patrol Association is behind the effort to raise the funds for the barn. With today's donation, that is at nearly $200,000 toward their $1 million goal. If you would like to donate, go to impdmountedpatrol.org. Kevin.
Did you get caught in the downpour today?
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Because it came like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all or nothing, just boom, it pours. Let me just show you. I stepped to the back door at RTV6, and while I was standing here, I was visiting with the UPS man who was waiting to run out to his truck. So you just have to pick your moment, right? Before you take off in these downpours. The humidity is incredibly high. Kyle Mounts is going to talk about that more in a second, but that fuels the heavier rain. Once it starts to rain, that's kind of the downfall of that individual shower or thunderstorm as well. This is starting to fade away a bit. This is Washington Township, north side of Indy, then south of Carmel, another area near Noblesville. That's kind of it in the metro area. I think we have a little lull here for a while. You can't rule out any one spot seeing a pop-up shower or downpour, but in general, I think we'll wait till later tonight, overnight, for more organized thunderstorms to come from the northwest with the cold front. Some rain from Sullivan to Bloomfield, Linton, just south of Spencer. This is probably the little more organized area that we have in the southwest portion of the viewing area. Rain cooled, 74 in Peru. It's 80 in Muncie, where you haven't had rain recently. Temperatures are in the upper 80s, but again, you'll be cooled soon by that developing area of some showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures 82 in Castleton, 85 in Martinsville. We will see cooler temperatures as we go to the weekend. There's a marginal or low risk for severe storms central and southern Indiana this evening. Tonight, later, after midnight, in most cases, there'll be a slight risk, a little higher risk for some strong to severe storms, with damaging wind being the main threat coming in from Michigan, Wisconsin, northern Illinois. Don't forget the Storm Shield app. It is free for your smartphone, and alarms will wake you up. It's a weather radio for your phone, so if a warning is issued, you'll know about it. As we move through the weekend, becomes more comfortable. 79 on Sunday. We'll be in the 50s on Sunday morning. The change comes with the wind direction shifting. Instead of out of the south, it'll be out of the northwest. We'll call it a breezy day. That wind will be 10 to 15 miles per hour with some higher gusts. Cloud cover around in the morning and the showers departing as we go through the day. Should be improving in the afternoon and setting the stage for what becomes a beautiful second half of the weekend as well. Saturday, temperature 83 for the afternoon high. As you go through the day Saturday, you have that rain pull away first thing in the morning. Here's your 7-day forecast, and you'll notice a theme when we get to next week, but at least this weekend, temperatures in the 50s. Sunday morning, Monday morning close to that. Many of the outlying areas will be in the 50s. There's your theme next week. This daily chance for some showers and thunderstorms, generally a low chance for showers.